All right, good morning, everyone. It's been a minute since we've done one of these. I'm Dylan Denmark, that is Graham Marsh. On this episode of Denmark and Marsh, Graham, what's the last time we done one? About a month?
It's been a while. Some things been busy in your boy's personal life.
Yep.
So
Same here. My lawnmower, my lawnmower got messed up last week, and I got to fix my self propeller.
Damn.
Yeah, big
That
things around here.
That is big. That is big.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think getting married is slightly better than having their lawnmower get fixed.
No, don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, I was trying to, I don't know what I was doing with that. Graham, we got some big news on the basketball front. We're gonna get to a couple football things in a second, but Boogie. Boogie Fland from Arkansas, one of the top freshmen in the country, entered the transfer portal, and now he's going to become a Florida Gator. So now, when it comes to the Gators, you look at the guards. All the guards were gone on the title run, including Aberdeen, who left to go to Kentucky. So you get somebody from Princeton, Xavier Lee, and now you have Boogie Fland, and then it was announced, I think it was Monday. Today's Wednesday of this recording of this pod. That Chinyelu was coming back to Florida, and then Alex Condon still has his name in the NBA draft and still has the option to opt out. It basically, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Graham, he said that if he's a lottery pick, he's going to go to the draft, but if not, he's going to return to Florida.
I would be pretty surprised at this point if he does not return to Florida. And I think most people, I'm not in the know, but I think most people in the know would agree with that statement. I think he's kind of just on that cusp, but probably not quite. Because I think he pretty much said as much in that interview that you're talking about. I think he pretty much was alluding to the fact that he would need to be all but guaranteed that he's going to be a lottery pick or a top 20 pick. And he could be, but that's certainly not guaranteed at all. There's a world where he's not picked until 25, 30, or even early second round, I think. He's certainly there as a prospect, but he had a pretty rough March Madness, as most people know. And I think most NBA guys would probably like to see him play another year in college and get a little bit more experience under his belt until they put that much investment in him as a draft pick. So today's Wednesday, Dylan, I bet by the time that the week is over on Friday afternoon, around 5, 6 o'clock, when people are clocking out on drinking time for the weekend, I think Alex Condon's going to be back in the fold in Gainesville.
Yeah, so you would expect, your projecting start five would be who? Xavier Lee, Boogie Fland, Chinyelu, Alex Condon, and then who else am I missing?
Thomas Howell.
Thomas Howell, correct.
Give me Xavier Lee as my point guard, Boogie is my 2, Thomas Houck is my 3, and then I got Condon and Chinyelu at the 4 or 5. They're kind of interchangeable there.
Yeah. So it feels like your big men are going to be coming back from a year ago, and then Micah Hanlockton, who burned his redshirt year, remember, because he got hurt and he wasn't going to burn it, but I was glad he did, Graham. I mean, you only have one chance to win a national title. I mean, obviously, it looks like Florida's going to be good next year, but you never know if you're going to get that opportunity again. So I was glad that he was able to come back and contribute and play. He burned his red shirt last year, so
Florida helped them tremendously. He made plays down the stretch, giving him that extra body. I mean, how many games, Dylan, when they had Todd Golden mic'd up in multiple games talking to the team, he said as much literally in the huddle during games. How often did we hear Todd Golden say down the stretch, our depth will wear them down? Our depth will wear them down. And how many times did you see Florida maybe start the game slow, maybe not have a great first half, but by the time you get to that 5-10 minutes into the second half range, the other team is just simply worn down. Florida's got too many guards they can throw at him, too many bigs they can throw at him, and Florida just doesn't stop coming at you. And a big reason they were able to do that was because of people like Micah Hanlockton, who burned his red shirt and came back. To your point, I mean, Florida had 4 bigs to throw at people, Dylan, that could play. All 4 of them could start.
Yeah, that's a lot in college basketball. That's a lot.
Yeah, so I think with this team, and look, getting back to the Boogie Fland stuff, because now you have a certified true starting caliber backcourt between Lee and Fland, and you got all the other guys. Obviously, we know what happened with Denzel Aberdeen going to Kentucky and all that, but everybody else is back in the fold. You get A.J. Brown from Ohio, Isaiah Brown's brother. Dylan, I was thinking about this last night. Okay, so you got your 2 starters with Lee and Fland, right? And we expect big things out of them. We expect Urban Klavzar to make a pretty big jump next year. We know that guy can shoot the daylights out of the basketball. He clearly last year just needed basically that full season to get his legs underneath him and kind of get adjusted to how athletic guys are in college basketball coming from overseas, from Slovenia, and kind of just figuring out what he needs to do. And I expect him to take a big jump. If the Brown brothers, between Isaiah and AJ, let's say, just kind of based on how the math typically works on this, let's say one of them really pans out and one is like a real contributor throughout the whole season. I got 4 guards I can throw at you again. And I'm also assuming Alex Condon's coming back. And I've got Hauk, Condon, Chinulu, and Hanlogden all back. I mean, that's crazy. And never mind CJ Ingram as well coming in.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Dylan, a big reason that Florida won the national championship was because they were the deepest team in the country. They're arguably even deeper. That's unreal. If a couple of things break their way, they will be even deeper than last year, which is unbelievable to even think about.
Yeah, I mean, especially, you're losing Walter Clayton. And there's no replacing him. As much as we want to sit here and say, we got this guard and that guard, that's great. But you're not going to replace the presence that he had and the shot making ability that he brought a year ago. It's just unrealistic.
Yeah, of course. And I think everybody kind of understands that. But that said, Dylan, I bullied you into watching most of the games this year, and once they got good enough, you would have watched anyways. So, but that the reason I bring that up is you watched basically the whole season for the most part. There were probably a couple of games you maybe didn't see, but for the most part, you saw this team. Who, in your opinion, was their second best player, just from start to finish, just generally speaking, throughout the season?
Jeez, it was like a lot of hit and miss. It was Condon for a little bit. It was Elijah Martin for a little bit. I would probably say Elijah Martin.
In my opinion, it was Condon for the most. Again, Condon had a bad March Madness. Condon was phenomenal most of the season. So I think it was either Condon or Thomas Howell. And you could maybe say Martin, and I get that. That's fair. But, a lot of people would agree with me saying Howell or Condon. They're both back. I think Thomas Howell, Dylan, can be one of the best players in college basketball this year. He could be up for all types of awards at the end of the season. He could be in the same conversation at the end of last year that Cooper Flagg and Janai Broom and Wall all were in that conversation for the Wooden Award. He's going to be in that range, in my opinion. I think Thomas Howell is that good.
I mean, he was a 6-man that was basically a starter.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. I don't know much about other college basketball teams and how their 6-man, stacks up against Florida, but I would find it hard to believe that another team had a 6-man that came off the bench that came. I think it was the SEC tournament, or it might have been March Madness. There was a couple of games where 2-3 minutes into the second half, he would sub right in and have a role and would start playing immediately. I don't think many teams have that in college basketball.
No. And again, I think he's going to be – I legitimately think, Dylan, that, when we're doing this show next year and it's January, February, and we're kind of right in the middle of college basketball season, I think you and I, the shows locally here in Jacksonville, the national people are going to be talking about Thomas Houck as a top 5 player in the country. And you pair that with Boogie Fland. You pair that with Xavier Lee, Alex Condon coming back potentially. You pair that with all this other stuff, man. There's no Dylan. There's no assuming Condon comes back again, and this is not my idea. A lot of people have been saying this, but I agree. There's no reason Florida shouldn't be preseason AP number 1. Why at this point? Why would they not be? With that starting lineup, I mean, come on.
At minimum, top 3. I mean, you can't put him outside the top 3.
I mean, Dylan, Boogie Fland was a McDonald's All-American, bro.
And he got buckets at Arkansas, too. It wasn't like he was a
buckets, certified bucket getter, yes.
You know. So, yeah, we'll see. Florida opens the season against UNF, and then they play an early game out in Vegas, I think, against Arizona. I think that's the same weekend they play Arizona and Vegas. I think that Monday, the same weekend the Jags go out to Vegas. Around I think it's around November, and then I don't have the schedule in front of me, but then you get into the SEC play. Remember, Florida last year. Granted, the schedule looked hard when you're playing Virginia and North Carolina, and those teams tend not to be that good. So we'll see how the season unfolds for the basketball team, and they look to be good again. So we shall see.
Can I make one more comment, because I know we're going to get into football, but it's going to transition us into football?
Yeah, go ahead.
So something I was thinking about with getting Boogie Fland yesterday, and again, being pretty confident Alex Condon's going to come back. Dylan, do you know why, above all else, in my opinion, I think Todd Golden is successful right now at his job? Because Todd Golden understands that at the University of Florida, you take a backseat to nobody. At the University of Florida, you should be just as competitive with every recruit as anybody in the country. And we don't care who it is. We don't care what team we're going up against. This is the University of Florida. Todd Golden coaches the Florida Gators, and he don't give a damn. And he knows that they're one of those top programs. William Hall Napier, please take notes. I need, and he's done it in some ways. He has not done it in others. Dylan, we'll have all summer to kind of break down Billy Napier and the expectations for this year, and looking at what he's done so far from 10,000 feet from an objective view and all that. But I need him to start carrying himself more like that. I need him to start carrying himself like, yeah, I am the head coach at the University of Florida. Yeah, we do kick people's ass. That's what we do down here in Gainesville. Like, I don't know that it's never – Billy Napier's never going to be Steve Spurrier, okay, in terms of the swag and how he's never going to be that. I'm not asking that. But can I get a little of it? Can I get a little hint? I'm tired of the humility. I'm tired, like, okay, you've been here for 3 years now. The roster they've gotten, in my opinion, is pretty damn loaded. It's finally starting to compete with some of those top teams in the SEC. I need you as a coach and your staff to start carrying yourself like you expect to win every ball game you play. And I don't know if they're there yet, but I certainly hope that I'm wrong.
I mean, that's a DNA thing. That's not his DNA. I mean, he's probably never going to show that to the public and show that in a press conference. But, I mean, Graham, I don't know how much you followed a lot of people like Josh Pate of CBS and Joel Klatt and many others that do their post-spring rankings. They all got Florida right around like 9, 10, 12, 13. And this has nothing to do with their schedule and how many wins. This is just them saying, okay, this is how all these teams they think stack up after the spring going into the fall. This is where they think they are based on talent. I mean, as they should be. For the offense, you got everything you want. DJ Liveway's throwing again, so that's really not a question mark anymore. We saw that what he was throwing with Denny Thompson, and he took snaps in the spring game. If his shoulder was so bad, he wouldn't be taking any snaps. He would not be getting dressed at all. Be in the spring game.
Yeah.
And then defensively, I don't know how many of I don't know how much this means, but the projected first round mock drafts for next year, you've seen Slaughter, some in the first round. You've seen Banks in the first round, and even Sapp go in the first round in some of these mock drafts. So the talent is there. It's just putting it together and getting off on the right foot and starting to roll and not laying an egg against Utah or laying an egg against Miami and then following up with Texas A&M. So yeah, like this is the year, man. This is the year you got to get it rolling, and you have to be on the verge of making that 12-team playoff.
How many games? We talked about this last year. What record do they need to be for you to be cool with Billy Napier being back the next year?
I mean, I think he's gonna be back regardless.
You think he's gonna be back regardless?
Terrible.
If they win 6 games, you think he's back?
No, that's terrible. I think they win.
Okay, but you said you don't think Billy Napier is capable of a 6-win season?
I think it's capable, but I think a lot of bad things would happen for them to win 6 games this year. If Lagway plays every game, the variable, guys stay healthy. If DJ Lagway gets hurt, I mean, everything I say, you can ball it up on paper ball and just throw that away because that ain't happening. I'd still be disappointed with 7-5. I think, which is funny because the Vegas over 6.5 right now.
Yeah,
this team's got to be tapped in. You got to be winning 8-9 games.
I agree.
I mean, the only game really that I feel like they can't. I mean, this is me talking May 21st. I don't have any confidence that they can go and win. Is Texas, but that game's at home. You're not going to Texas. Every other game, I feel like you have a good shot of winning.
Even Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, look what you saw last year.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I was just wanting to get your
opinion.
Yeah. I was thinking about it the other day. I think there's 4 games, Dylan, that are like what I would call coin flip games. And I don't mean coin flip in terms of it's a dead 50-50 true pick 'em of if Florida's going to win or not, but just in terms of right now talking like you said on May 21st, it's kind of anybody's guess who wins that game. I think I had 4 of them for the Gators. I had Miami, LSU, Georgia, and there's another one I'm missing. Go say that again.
Texas.
No, I don't think because I think Texas is going to be a pretty over. I think Texas could win the national championship.
A&M
here. No, it's Tennessee.
Tennessee, that's right.
So that was my 14th. So who knows with their quarterback situation that can maybe change, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple teams. There's certainly other games they could potentially lose and all that, but those are, to me, Dylan, I think Texas is kind of over here. If they can beat Texas, they'll get them in the swamp. That's awesome. But again, I think Texas is the best team in college football this year. So I'm not picking the Gators to really have that much of a chance against that. They have a chance, but you get what I'm saying. I just don't think it's even close to a 50-50 game. I think that's more like an 80-20 Texas, at least as things currently stand. I think Georgia's more gettable, like you said. I actually agree with you on that. I think that's Georgia's seemingly come back to earth a little bit. They're still really good, obviously, but this is Florida's best chance in a long time, in my opinion. But probably since they actually beat them in 2020. So I'll lump Georgia into there. And then those other 3, those games define the season, right? Because I think the rest of the schedule, Florida will win and should win. And then maybe, you might give yourself some breathing room to drop 1 or 2 games outside of those if you can pick up an extra one of these other games I'm talking about. Like let's say you beat LSU and Miami. that maybe gives you a little bit more of a pass if you do drop one to Kentucky or something, right? I don't think they're going to lose to Kentucky, but you get what I'm saying. You get the point. Like, I'm kind of baking in the whole schedule together. I agree. I need 8 wins. Really would come close to saying I need 9. It's good. I'll take a phrase from your playbook. You always like saying it's how it looks. Because it is. It matters. I'm close to needing 9 wins, Dylan. And the main thing, like you just said, when it's mid to late November and they're gearing up to play Florida State and it's around Thanksgiving time and all that, I gotta be in the conversation to be in the 12-team playoff. I gotta be. If I'm an afterthought, then I need a new coach next year.
Yeah, I think it's less than 10% chance that Napier's not going to be the coach at Florida. They really like him down there, and he seems like they got a program where he and the staff want it to be. And I mean, and the talent is there. The receivers are getting a lot of the love. Hopefully Eugene Wilson can stay healthy this year. Jaden Ball is also another person that is getting a lot of love this offseason. I don't know how much you've seen or read. When people are talking about the best running back rooms in the SEC, a lot of people are mentioning Florida because of the number of guys they had, and also it's because of how much they love Jaden Ball. So, I mean, we'll see. I'm excited about this year, and I feel that we have a lot more optimism going into the season right now than we've had in a long time. Like, it's been since Dan Mullen going into, I wouldn't even say the 19 or 20 season that we had this much optimism, because 20, remember at this point right now, we didn't even know if we were going to have a college football season. 19, you felt good, but I don't think it was like this just because of, who you have at quarterback at DJ Lagway. I mean, I was thinking about this a couple weeks ago. This will be the last thing I say before we sign off. A lot of people putting out their list of like the top quarterbacks in the country around college football, and Nussmeier, Arch Manning are like leading the charge. I don't know about you, Graham. I wouldn't take anybody else other than DJ Lagway at quarterback, and that's not me just being because I'm a Gator, a fan. I think Lagway has the potential like Arch Manning or Gus Nussmeier, any of those guys, and he can run.
I'd certainly rather have him over Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah.
The conversation's really about Arch, because a lot of people think Arch's ceiling is really, really high. When he has played at Texas, he's shown a lot of flashes. He obviously has a ton of talent around him. Again, I think they're going to be the best team in college football. The last name may have something to do with that, but I also just think he's just damn good. But Dylan, to your point, I mean, I get DJ right now here today. I get DJ Lagway for the next 2 seasons, presumably. I agree with you. There's not, if we're talking ceiling, we're talking ability, we're talking just like exudes what you need from the quarterback position and leadership and all that. Like, bro, there's, I mean, look, let's put it this way. It's still 2 years away, but anytime you've heard anything about the 2020, what is it going to be? 2027, I guess, NFL draft. DJ Lagway is pretty much always the first pick whenever people talk about that kind of thing, right? And what really excites me, Dylan, I'm very confident they're going to be able to run the ball. We talked about this all last season, how much in college football, especially, you got to be able to run the ball. I'm very confident between the backs, like you just talked about. My O-line's pretty much all back. I'm very confident they're going to be able to run the ball. When it comes to throwing the ball, DK and Badger were good players, and they were really experienced, and they really showed out, especially the end of last year when DJ Lagway did kind of come into his own and that he was able to kind of get his legs underneath him. But now that I have Eugene Wilson back, who presumably can control the middle of the field in a lot of ways and be one of the best slot receivers in the country, I got Aiden Mizell and some other guys in the fold that I'm excited about. But I got Vernell on the third, and I got Dallas Wilson on my football team. Dude, those are the type of players that I'm talking about when I say, when you look at the rosters, when you look at Texas's roster, you look at Georgia's roster, you look at LSU's roster, you look at Ohio State's roster, you look at the best rosters in the country. Those are the types of dudes where I'm able to look at them and say, okay, Florida's finally starting to look like that again. And I've been able to say that even before Dan Mullen.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look at the impact that Jeremiah Smith has had on the team. Look at the impact that, when LSU had Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. And before that, it was Keyshawn Butte. Yeah. So we have, another 3 months before we start putting total leather before Florida plays Long Island. Give me a mascot for Long Island. They're playing the first week of the season, Graham.
The Long Island Pirates.
No, I couldn't tell you.
Oh, okay. You didn't even know.
I didn't know it. If I don't know it, it doesn't even matter. Only thing I know about that team is that they had C.J. Beathard's brother at quarterback at one point. He went there, or his brother went there a couple of years ago. So,
Dylan, I know we got to get out of here, but I'm just kind of thinking in my head in the schedule. Georgia, the games I just said, LSU, Miami, Tennessee, Georgia. Those 4. Okay. What does Florida go in those 4 games?
2-2.
I think 2-2.
2-2. I would take 2-2 and run with it right now.
Which games do they win?
Tennessee at home or on the road?
Tennessee is at home.
Okay, so we beat Tennessee.
I agree.
LSU's on the road. You said LSU, Miami, Tennessee, Georgia?
LSU and Miami are both on the road.
Yeah. I think they get Miami. I think because they lose to LSU and then they come back and they go down the road and beat Miami. That's what I would guess right now.
That's exactly what I have as well. I think they go to Miami and they win. I think Miami's going to take a pretty significant step back without Cam Ward. And I think they beat Tennessee at home because they always beat Tennessee at home. LSU in Death Valley is going to be really, really tough, especially they're pissed off because you beat them last year, and they still have a good quarterback. They still got a good team. Georgia, I think this is the best chance they've had in years to beat Georgia, but it's one of those things where it's like I'll believe it when I see it type of thing. It was finally competitive at the end of the game last year, but I need that next step. I need to see them get over the hump before I ever pick them to beat Georgia. Obviously, we got forever to redo that pick if we need, but just here now today, I like 2-2 in this category.
All right, Graham, it was nice doing a little pod that we haven't done in a while. We'll catch y'all in a couple weeks, possibly. I don't know. Some news might break, and we might hop on here and do something. But I'm Dylan Denmark. That's Graham Marsh, and we'll catch y'all next time we talk to y'all.